chocolate, the cookies, butter crunch, 88. Long as I got stuff for most of them soft. Even when I was wrong, I got my point across. They depicted me the boss. Of course, my orange box cutter make the world go round. Plus I'm fucking bitches ain't my homegirls now. Start stacking, dabbled in crack, gun packing. Nickname Medina, made the scenes, took my Ninas. From gym class to English, pass off for global. The only nigga with a mobile. Can't you see like total? Getting larger in waist and taste. Ain't no telling where this spelling is heading. Just in case, keep a shell at the tip of your melon. Clear the space. Your brain was a terrible thing to waste. Realizing to master enterprise and I ain't have to be in school by 10. I then began to encounter with my counterparts of how to burn the block apart. Break it down into sections. Drugs by these selections. Some use pipes, others use injections. Syringe sold separately. Frank the deputy, quick to grab my Smith & Wesson like my dick was missing. To protect my position, my corner, my layer. While we out here, say the hustler's prayer. If the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man. Take a better stand, put money in my mom's hand. Get my daughter this college plan, so she don't need no man. Stay far from timid, only make moves when your heart's in it. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Motherfucker. 88. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Put money in my mom's hand. Get my daughter this college plan, so she don't need no man. Stay far from timid, only make moves when your heart's in it. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Never been as broke as me. I like that. When I was young, I had 2 pair of leaves. Besides that, the pinstripes and the gray. The one I wore on Mondays and Wednesdays. While niggas flirt, I'm throwing tigers on my shirt and alligators. You wanna see the inside? I see you later. Here come the drama. Oh, that's that nigga with the fake. Wow, why you punch me in my face? Stay in your place, play your position. Here come my intuition. Go in this nigga pocket, rob him while his friends watch it, and hoes clock it. Here comes respect. His crew's your crew, or they might be next. Look at they man, big man, they never try, so we roll with them. I stole with them, I mean loyalty. Niggas bought me milks at lunch, the milks with chocolate, the cookies, butter crunch, 88. I was wrong, I got my point across. They depicted me the boss. Of course, my orange box cutter make the world go round. Plus I'm fucking bitches ain't my homegirls now. Start stacking, dabbled in crack, gun packing. Nickname Medina, made the scenes, took my Ninas. From gym class to in-glass, pass off for global. The only nigga with a mobile. Can't you see like total? Getting larger in waist and taste. Ain't no telling where this felon is heading. Just in case, keep a shell at the tip of your melon. Clear the space. Your brain was a terrible thing to waste. Realizing to master enterprise and I ain't have to be in school by 10. I then began to encounter with my counterparts on how to burn the block apart. Break it down into sections. Drugs by these selections. Some use pipes, others use injections. Syringe sold separately. Frank the deputy, quick to grab my Smith & Wesson like my dick was missing. To protect my position, my corner, my layer. While we out here, say the hustler's prayer. If the game shakes me or breaks me, I hope it makes me a better man. Take a better stand. Put money in my mom's hand. Get my daughter this college plan so she don't need no man. Stay far from timid. Only make moves when your heart's in it. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Motherfucker. 88. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Take a better stand. Put money in my mom's hand. Get my daughter this college plan so she don't need no man. Stay far from timid. Only make moves when your heart's in it. And live the phrase, sky's the limit. Nigga never been as broke as me. I like that. When I was young, I had 2 pair of leaves. Besides that, the pinstripes and the gray.
Well, here we are again. Here we are again, man. Wow. Well, obviously, as you guys can tell, yeah, I'm spinning solo for the day. I'm spinning solo for the day, man. Maybe tomorrow, too. Obviously, man, if you guys are not aware of the situation, I guess we'll just cover this first. If you guys are not aware of the situation, the homie, my man, Sir K, is at home right now recovering from successful hernia surgery. So, we got about to 3:56, and obviously you guys know we go live at 4 Central. We got to about 3:56, and I couldn't let him go on. He tried, and I want you guys to know he did try to be here. He tried to be here, man. You guys know, man, if anybody in this space has passion for what they do, it is my man Sir K and myself, man. So he really did try to be here, but I genuinely just couldn't let him. And if you guys know Sir K like I do, he is a stubborn motherfucker. So it took a little bit of teeth pulling, but I couldn't let him come on here, man. You know, some things are just more important, man, and him you know, being healthy and getting healthy is more important. So, you know, that's just, you know, that's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. So he really did try to be here, but if you guys, you know, don't mind joining a solo Johnny, you know, I'm here, man, and we're about to kill the game, bro. As we always do, the 2 times a week that we're here, bro. So yes, that is why Sir K is not here. Like I said, it's a very last minute thing, you know. It was a very last minute thing, you know. He really did try to be here, man, but you know, I just couldn't. I could not let him, you know, come on here and he's, you know, in pain, you know. So it'll be all right. It's something, you know. Sometimes I should take my own advice because it's probably something I would do, but it's something I just genuinely could not let him do, bro. So, anyways, man, yeah. So, want to wish Sir K a speedy recovery. As for Clash at the Castle, everything is up in the air. There is a chance I could be on here by myself tomorrow. There also is a chance he could be here. We're gonna play it by ear and see how he feels and continues to feel with you know, progressing. So, yes, we want to wish my man a very, very speedy recovery and hope we can, you know, get him back, you know, as soon as he's feeling good, man, as soon as he's feeling up to it. But with that, man, the news. We got a lot of news here today for you guys, man. We got the news. We got the Clash at the Castle predictions. And, yeah, man, we got a lot of interesting news here today for you guys, bro. We got news on more contracts that Chad Gable, Ricochet, Jeff Hardy, not Roxanne Perez, Jordan Grace, a bunch of people, man. We got news on all that. We got news on WWE possibly making an announcement with Pro Wrestling Noah, Hikuleo coming to the WWE. We're gonna start you guys with that, and the Glazer, The Rock, possibly looks to be injured, man. We also got news on a new pay-per-view that just dropped. And then we got news on Cody Rhodes' potential plans for the next big feud of his, I guess. So, without any further ado, what is going on, everybody? We are back with yet again another edition of the Notorious podcast and another edition of the news, man. This is episode 100, bringing us back about 100 episodes, 218, episode 218, man. This is episode 218 of the news, man. If this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are, or how the show works, rather, every Monday we are on here with Notorious Unscripted after Monday Night Raw, and every Friday we are on here with the news, man. And that is at 4 p.m. Central every Friday, man. And with that, if you guys did miss this past Monday's edition of Unscripted, is WWE making a mistake if they have Drew lose at Clash at the Castle, man? If you guys did miss that, that is episode 199 of Unscripted. You guys can now find that live on all platforms. That's Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live every single Monday after Monday Night Raw for Notorious Unscripted, man. Also, if you guys have not got a chance to get your hands on some of the official Notorious Heels podcast merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is in the top description of this very video, where you can find all 8 of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful designs live on the merch shop. Again, all 8 of these and more available on bonfire.com. Again, link is in the top description of this very video, man. Also, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at the Notorious Heels podcast, I am Johnny Mayhem, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, well, He's not here today, but he wanted to be. But, it's my man Sir K. And again, wishing Sir K a very speedy recovery on the hernia surgery, man. So, yes, as Toronto always asks, I'm doing great. Family's doing great. What about you, Durante, Logan, Bell, anybody here now? Whether you're here now or part of the Replay Mafia, JT, JB, how the hell are you guys doing, man? And thank you guys, as always, for joining us, or in this case, joining me for the podcast, man. So, yeah, man, we're going to start you guys off with some news about the Bloodline, I guess. Them potentially adding a new member into the group. And then, obviously, we're going to end with the Clash at the Castle predictions, man. So, yes, if you guys are not aware, we will be live with the Clash at the Castle review live tomorrow. I guess for you UK folk, tomorrow night. For us, it's going to be obviously tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, evening or whatever, about 4 o'clock Central. About the same time we're live today. Probably be live tomorrow with the Clash at the Castle review. But yes, again, I'm not sure if that will be me or if that will be me and Sir K. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to play that by ear and just see how the cookie crumbles on that one, bro. So, yeah, man. Yes, to start you guys off, bro, with this news about Hikuleo, Bodyslam.net confirms New Japan's Hikuleo, his New Japan deal has came up, and it has officially come to an end. Haku's youngest son is heading to the WWE, possibly joining the Bloodline story. Well, for starters, this man, it's kind of funny because I remember about last year, like 2023, February, I remember hearing about this man Hikuleo facing Jay White in like a loser leaves Japan match. And then something happened in the story where they both ended up having to leave Japan, but then he didn't end up leaving Japan. I think he just went to New Japan Strong, which is obviously like their American-based version of it. And we haven't heard about him much. Kind of stopped seeing him on like AEW Dynamite and all those. Tony Khan probably got a little butthurt that, the writing was kind of on the wall. Maybe that this man was just waiting around to go to WWE. And yeah, then we stopped hearing about him, and now all of a sudden we're hearing about him again, and looks like he's coming to WWE, man. So I like the move. Maybe, see, now I will say, with the more we see, all these, Tongans join the Solo Sikoa bloodline, it's really making me think that Jacob Fatu is going to be joining the OG bloodline, because it just seems a little too much. You know what I mean? To put all these guys on the Solo bloodline, and then, Roman's side is left with, these 3 guys, maybe 4 if you add Sami Zayn. So, I'm kind of, with the more, people, it looks like they're going to be adding to this version of the bloodline. It really does look like, it really looks like a guy like Jacob Fatu is going to be joining the OG, Roman and Solo bloodline or whatever. But now I like the move. It's the family continuity of, Solo just bringing in more of like Haku's sons and, the oathed members of the family, I guess, if you will. And I like the move, man. I like the move. Speaking of another thing that I actually like, also regarding Hikuleo, the WWE has filed for the trademark Talatanga. Hikuleo's middle name is Taula. So obviously, his middle name is Taula, and they are trademarking the name Tala Tonga. So obviously, you know, a lot of people are probably going to say Tala when they look at the name Tala. You know what I mean? So I felt the addition of just the Tala, the Talla, instead of the Taula, is just it's just a better way, I guess, for the American audience to, look at it and I guess pronounce it, even though, seeing the name Taula isn't that hard, but I guess, it's probably just WWE trying to make things dummy proof for their American audience. But what do you know? But honestly, dude, I've seen a lot of people ragging on this dude. I actually don't mind it. Like I said, if his middle name is Taula, you know what I mean? Like I said, the dummy proof version of that name is Tala, and then obviously the Tonga in there because you have Tamatonga, Tongaloa, Tala Tonga, you just got a bunch of Tongans around, or, Sir K's favorite member of the group, Tonga Tonga, as he likes to, say. But, no, but I like the name, man. I do like the name Tala Tonga. Like I said, it plays into, his actual middle name, and, yeah, I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. I don't really have a problem with it. Like I said, man, they're, kind of keeping up with the Tonga, in a lot of their names. So, I don't mind it, man. I don't mind it at all. And I actually like the name. Yeah, like I said, it rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the tongue nice. And yeah, so, but like I said, man, the more time moves on, I genuinely do feel as if Jacob Fatu is going to be joining the OG side of the bloodline. And like Bell's saying, Jacob and Solo are pretty similar, even though and see, this is what was kind of making me think Jacob would join the Solo side of the bloodline for a while, is they've sort of drastically changed Solo up a lot in terms of just the way he's, just the way he looks, he was doing the like barefooted, like, the guy almost looked like the second coming of Umaga type thing. He kind of had that whole shtick going for him, but, they put him in kick pads, instead of having him dress in, street clothes, now they're putting him in suits. So I maybe felt that Jacob would come in and sort of take that role where he's kind of the guy who doesn't dress in the suit. And he's, the guy who, dresses, wrestles barefoot and kind of does the Umaga type thing. But if you really look at it, man, the OG side of the bloodline are kind of the guys that do kind of dress in a bit more of the streetwear. They kind of just dress in, just joggers, Jordans, and a t-shirt. And that's what I could see, Jacob Fatu, I could see him in that group a lot more as time moves on, just because I could see him, dressing alike to those guys. I can't really see him, and maybe they'll prove me wrong if they do put him in the Solo version of it, but I can't really see him, with those guys dressing in suits and, wearing their, leather gloves like a fucking pair of idiots, and doing what they do. I can't really see him, dressing, like I said, in the suit and it's kind of just rolling with the new bloodline. But like I said, I can see him, kind of rocking with the OG version of the bloodline. I could see that a lot more, but yeah, again, I do see a lot of people harping on the Talatonga name, but honestly, I don't mind it, man. I really don't mind it at all, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the new bloodline, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the new bloodline, Solo's version of it. I think he's gonna fit fine in there, and I think it's another great addition to the group, man. So yeah, I'm fine with this one, man. So yeah, that is the news on Hikuleo joining the WWE, man, and looks to be heading that way. Whether we see him, well, obviously they're not on Clash, so I don't know, if we see him at Money in the Bank or wherever we see him, but we could be seeing him soon, man. Maybe we just see him on a random episode of SmackDown. But actually, speaking of the new bloodline, as of today, the Wrestling Observer reports that the Cody Rhodes bloodline saga will reportedly continue very soon, as Rhodes is set to face off against the tribal chief, no, not Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, at the next Big Destination Premium Live event. So, honestly, man, this is interesting because a lot of people, well, first and foremost, a lot of people, including myself, wanted to see Rock back for SummerSlam. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't want to see Rock and Cody main event WrestleMania, but, you know, The Rock is doing interviews with ESPN saying, well, we're on the 1 yard line from creating the biggest WrestleMania ever at WrestleMania 41. Yeah. I think we all know what that means. I think we all know he's going to be the main event because, you know, nothing could be the biggest unless it has Dwayne in the main event. I think we all know what that means. And you can tell by working with him, Dwayne absolutely fell in love with Cody Rhodes, working with him through the Mania season. He absolutely fell in love with the body of work he was putting out, being the dastardly heel, being the final boss. You know, it was a great character. It was a great, you know, it was great stuff they were putting out, and he absolutely fell in love with it, and you can absolutely see, and you know that man is absolutely going to politic his way into the main event. This time, not the main event of night 1, the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania next year, and I guarantee you he's going to be the one to take the title from Cody Rhodes. I can absolutely see that, man. But you know what I could see? I could see this new bloodline from SummerSlam all the way to Mania season trying to, you know, take the title from Cody Rhodes. I could see, you know, maybe every single member of the bloodline, whether it's Tongaloa, Tamatanga, Hikuleo, or Talatanga, whatever you want to call them. I could even maybe see some of the OG bloodline. Maybe a guy like Roman goes to get the title back, and I could see none of that working up until we get up to the final boss. But and then again, too, with The Rock's injury, which, you know, we're going to go over that as well. With The Rock's injury, I think that about rules out SummerSlam for almost everything. So I think if you're looking at The Rock in any substance, obviously you can look at a Saudi show, maybe. But again, with him saying, you know, we're on the 1 yard line to create the biggest and best WrestleMania of all time. This is Dwayne talking, and nothing is going to be the biggest unless it has his name attached to it, and in this case, in the main event. So, yeah, but the Wrestling Observer, yes, is reporting, yeah, so they're reporting that, you know, Solo is going to face Cody Rhodes at the next Big Destination Premium Live event or pay-per-view, whatever the hell. So obviously this could mean a couple things. So they've obviously been teasing this with Solo saying, you know, we got Cody on lock. He don't even know it, right? What does WWE view a Big Destination Premium Live event? Because a lot of people put money in the bank in the Big Five, or I think the obvious one here. Is SummerSlam, right? They got about 50,000 or 40,000 people, whatever it is, in that stadium, and you're gonna need the bloodline in the main. You could also be looking at Berlin as well, but you're gonna, you know, WWE's gonna want to do something huge at SummerSlam. So, what did we say a couple weeks ago in terms of just WWE needing to get something to move, just to get the wrestling world talking at SummerSlam? you're going to need maybe Roman Reigns to come out at the end of SummerSlam. Well, how do you get Roman Reigns to come out at the end of SummerSlam? You know, if he doesn't want to beef with Cody Rhodes, and you know we're in line for a showdown with Solo Sikoa. If you're looking at that, Solo, obviously, you know, you can't really bring Roman Reigns out if, you know, there's no attachment to the bloodline in the main event, unless he goes after just Cody Rhodes, which could be the case, but it also couldn't. You know what I mean? But if you have Solo in the main event of that show, you have Roman Reigns come out and you do the stare down with Solo, you know, right there. You know what I mean? And I think I think this is our main event of SummerSlam. I think this is what we're looking at, man. I think we're looking at Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam. Again, I was really hoping it was The Rock, but again, with just the way he is and his delusional mind added on top of this injury now, I think that about rules SummerSlam out for The Rock versus Cody Rhodes. And I honestly think the whole summer, with the work that Solo's been doing with the new bloodline and stuff, I think that we get Solo I think this all culminates with Solo in the main event of SummerSlam, and maybe the reason he loses is because he hears, you know, Roman Reigns' theme song hit, you know what I mean, or something along those lines. But I think you know I think that's how that goes. And I think, I think now that, you know, this piece of news is coming out, man, I do think we're looking at Solo versus Cody Rhodes in the main event of SummerSlam. And then, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do at Berlin. If you want to do a Roman and Cody rematch, you know, you could do that. If you wanted to do Roman versus Solo, you could do that. If you wanted to do the OG3 bloodline versus the bloodline now, and then maybe you introduce like a Hikuleo there to then later bring in Jacob Fatu for Survivor Series. You know, it's all, you know, there's all a lot of possibilities and how they could do this, but honestly, man, the way this is going and the way the summer's been building up, man, I do think we see Solo versus Cody in the main event of SummerSlam, and I think Solo loses because of a distraction by, you know, returning Roman Reigns or something along those lines. Hunter said, by the way, what is up, Hunter? And Hounds of Wrestling, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it, and hello and welcome to the show. And yes, thank you for subbing, and man, hopefully you enjoy the show, bro. So appreciate you for being here, man. But Hunter says, yes, by the way, what's going on, Hunter? Congratulations on the graduation, my man. He says, Johnny, do you think Triple H would have Solo win the title from Cody? Not yet. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think he'll come close. But again, I think right before he does win it, I honestly think we're going to see some sort of Roman Reigns interference, or maybe, like I said, maybe just the music hits and or something like that, something along those lines. And you know, Roman Reigns, obviously, I'm sure is not a happy man with Solo Sikoa right about now. So, you know, I could absolutely see something popping off at SummerSlam. Actually, now that we're on the topic of the Glazer himself, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. The Rock has suffered an injury during movie filming. He took to his Instagram and his social medias to come out and say, you know, during the movie The Smashing Machine, he did suffer an elbow injury. He said it looks like there's a cantaloupe on his elbow, and yes, he did show his elbow, and there was a gigantic bump on it. So I'm sure that sucks. I don't know how crazy they're going during the filming for this movie, but obviously, you know, it is a movie about MMA, you know, so it is a movie about MMA, so, and you know, The Rock, he's always extra with everything, so I'm sure he was going fucking balls to the walls probably and ended up fucking himself up. So that sucks, man. And like I said, honestly, the next time I think we see The Rock is WrestleMania, so I don't really think this is going to alter any of WWE's plans. Obviously, it's going to alter the filming of his movie, but I don't really think this is going to alter any of WWE's plans. I don't think we expect Rock back for, at least Royal Rumble time. I mean, at the very least Survivor Series if they want to put him in a War Games. But if we're being honest here, I don't really see The Rock wanting to participate in a War Games. But at the very least, maybe or maybe a little bit earlier in the November month for their Saudi show. Maybe that's the earliest. But I mean, if we're being realistic, we're probably not seeing him back until WrestleMania season. After the Royal Rumble or before the Royal Rumble or whatever they got going on. But yeah, man. So The Rock is injured, and I do wish the man a speedy recovery. The Rock is absolutely one of my favorite people to laugh at. Just how hard in the paint this man goes with his PR. He's always trying to glaze himself, and we call him the Glazer for a reason, because God, this man does not quit. Yeah. 100%. Logan says if The Rock was in War Games, it would end up being like Randy Orton from, this past year's, where, he comes in, the timer goes off, nobody comes out, but then Rock comes out, does a couple moves, does the spine buster and this people's elbow, the Glazer's elbow, and, he does a couple moves and, wins the match or whatever, but yeah, so the Glazer is injured, and I do wish him a speedy recovery, man, and, hope to see him back soon, and hope we get the final boss running around with his Glazer championship, because, he needed something to hold this year, but yeah, I do wish him a speedy recovery nonetheless, man, and it absolutely sucks that, he had to get injured in the middle of filming a movie. I'm sure that messed everything up for him schedule-wise, and it does suck. It does suck, man, so... Yes, wishing him a speedy recovery, man. Wishing him a speedy recovery. Speaking of the Bloodline, and speaking of, I guess, as I was saying, WWE's big destination pay-per-views, according to WrestleVotes, all signs point to Jey Uso winning the 2024 Money in the Bank briefcase next month. All right. Well, this is interesting. Because could Solo beat Cody, but then Jay cashes in on Solo? But then again, I don't really know if, Jay needs the Bloodline story does not, especially where we're at now, doesn't need a championship. That's why I'm confused as to kind of what the logic behind that would be. And again, I'm sure this is just speculation, or maybe this is an early signs pointing. But then again, he is, aside from Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus, the only guy to declare for Money in the Bank right now. So, I mean, obviously, if you look at the three guys that declared, sure, all signs point to Jey Uso. But honestly, man, I really don't believe this much at all. And nor do I think this is a good idea. I love Jey, and hell, do I want Jey to be world champion one day? I do. I think a lot of the Jey Uso hate is misplaced. I do not think Jey Uso is nearly as bad as people try to say he super kick. No, I don't really think, again, I don't really think that about Jey Uso at all. And again, do I want to see him as world champion one day? Absolutely I do. I think he deserves it. I think with his body of work, man, I think, he's proved, he can get the people behind him, and he could be a legitimate, world champion. I do think that, man. But right now, he's got bloodline business to handle. And I obviously don't think the Money in the Bank should fit. I don't think the Money in the Bank should fit into, his plans right now, man. I really don't think And Mello declared himself. And I mean, Mello, could be a good option as well. Probably a little too early for Mello, but yeah, man, I mean, Jay, again, man, I think, I think Jay's got more important stuff to handle right now. I do. And again, I think all this bloodline story stuff does not have, does not just, does, the Money in the Bank does not fit into, the Money in the Bank does not fit into the plans for that. And nor do I think it's a good idea to, to do something like that with Jey Uso, man. Like I said, if you want to interject him into the world title scene, if you want to do it on Raw, that's dumb because he needs to go to SmackDown soon and fight alongside the Bloodline. And if you want to do it on SmackDown, that's even more stupid because why would you have Jey Uso as the world champion in the middle of a Bloodline feud? It just doesn't make sense. None of that makes any sense, and I don't think that is a good. I don't think that is a good idea at all. I don't think it's a good idea to have Jey Uso win the Money in the Bank briefcase at all, in my honest opinion. And again, do I want to see the guy as a world champion one day? I do. Like I said, man, I think a lot of the hate for him is a little misplaced. I do. Yeah, I do. I think, I think it's very misplaced, but, I get, I get people don't want to just see a bunch of super kicks, but I mean, come on, bro. Come on, man. This guy, don't disrespect Jay, man. He's put on a lot of bangers in his time. And I mean, I get what, I see, Logan saying, if you've seen one of his matches, you see them all. And his matches as of late definitely have been on the repetitive side, but, for people to say he's bad in the ring, I think bad is a little wild to say, in my honest opinion. Yeah, I think saying he's bad in the ring, maybe a little repetitive is the right word, and that's why I say a lot of the hate for him is misplaced, and I think it's misspoken. I think a lot of people, again, to say he's bad in the ring, I think is wild as fuck. But again, I get if you say he's repetitive in the ring, maybe I can understand that one, but to say he's bad is a little fucking wild, bro. But a lot of people are saying Finn. If I'm being 100% honest, that's who I would say, because fucking Christ, if it's not Drew McIntyre, and Lord, you guys are gonna fucking hear from me tomorrow night, if it's not fucking Drew McIntyre, it needs to be Finn Balor, because I swear on fucking everything, if we have to fucking see Damian Priest versus Gunther, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know, man. That is just a recipe for fucking disaster. But even at that, we're nearing towards SummerSlam. We're really nearing towards SummerSlam, unless, because if Finn Balor wins it, this man is gonna have to, if Finn Balor wins it, bro, and he wins it before SummerSlam, this man's obviously gonna be a transitional champion to Gunther, and maybe Finn cashes in at SummerSlam, and then at Berlin, maybe we get, Gunther versus, Priest versus Finn, or I don't know, man. I don't know. You see how fucked up this is with Damian Priest as the world champion. It just genuinely just fucks everything up. It fucks everything up. It was a horrible decision. I don't know how they didn't look at this long term and say, man, putting the title on Damian Priest is probably a pretty fucking stupid call. And what did they go ahead and do? They put the briefcase on Damian Priest. And it was a stupid call, like I said, from the moment he won it. Trash. Absolute trash. And trust me when I tell you, you will hear from me tomorrow. And that's true as well, man. Gunther winning King of the Ring kind of fucked everything up as well. Like I said on the King of the Ring review, man, I'm watching these decisions like I said, Cody facing Logan Paul at that show, and then Gunther being the one to win King of the Ring. It's just like, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing, man? Like, why didn't you just give it to Randy? Because everybody knows, or everybody at least wants, the SummerSlam match to be Cody and Randy anyway. So why didn't we just have Cody win the thing? Or why didn't we just have Randy win the thing? Or the King of the Ring? I don't understand, bro. I don't understand, man. I don't understand why Gunther. I really don't understand, man, why they had to have Gunther win the title on top of, Damian Priest being this paper champion, man. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand. And they really messed a lot of titles up this summer, man. They really did. They messed the World Heavyweight title up this summer. Don't even get me fucking started on those Raw Tag Team titles. A lot of champions are just doing a bunch of nothing. A lot of champions are doing a bunch of nothing, man. I mean, Cody and AJ, that is picked up. I liked what they've started to do. I can't say enough good things about the Intercontinental Championship. But aside from that, man, I mean, I know Grayson and Theory have got like a nice little, turmoil going on right now. So it's going to be exciting to see, them lose the titles. But yeah, man, I mean, they got a whole lot of nothing going on for a whole lot of championships in the company right now, and good Lord, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They messed a lot of things up with a lot of dumb decisions they've made. They have, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's every time we feel like we're going one way with the story, Triple H takes us another way, and sometimes it ends up working out, and the other times it ends up leaving you scratching your head because you're just sitting there like, huh? Why would he do that? My man Durante, how the hell are you, bro? Thank you for being here, man. Thank you for being here. How are you, my man? But yeah, man, I mean, again, a lot of decisions, and, like I said, some decisions with Triple H you look at nowadays and you say, oh, okay, well, everything worked out. But ones like that, man, you just leave yourself scratching your head and you're just like, huh. But I mean, if they wanted Solo and Cody, I get why they did it. But at the end of the day, if you wanted Gunther to win, you got to get that title on somebody else. You got to get that title on somebody else, man. You got to, bro. Because, I'm sorry, but Damian Priest and Gunther, that screams, this is our secondary championship. And Gunther's not the problem in that. Gunther fighting for a World Heavyweight Championship in any realm is amazing. But him and Damian Priest, I'm sorry, but the dynamic between those two, and I just do not, when I look at those two, I just think, God, their styles are not going to mesh well. I just see that match being horrible. And I hope they could prove me wrong. But I look at, when somebody says to me, man, I really want to watch Damian Priest versus Gunther, I mean, I just want to slap the shit out of you. I mean, why would you ever say something like that? I mean, that just sounds abysmal. It really does, man. I mean, Damian Priest in any world championship match will make me want to slap the shit out of you. But I mean, man. But I mean, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they got going on, man. I don't know. It's a bunch of tomfoolery they got going on in WWE right now. But yeah, Sir K is the Invisible Man. He is my man is at home recovering from a successful hernia surgery, man. So yes, shout out to Sir K. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how Jey Uso winning in Money in the Bank spiraled into all this. But regardless. Yeah, it's a tricky situation with what they got going on with these championships in WWE, and hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out, man. So, And hopefully everything works out, man, hopefully everything works out for them. But again, oh, bro. Look, Bell. Look, Bell. All right. All right, man. It started. Well, I don't think Bell moved my camera this week. Now she's picking on me in the comments, man. She's saying I let Punk leave Chicago. Look, man. I've been looking for him all fucking week. All right? I've been going to fucking Mindy's Bakery. I've been going to the Sears Center Arena to see if he's trying to, make Brawl Out 2 or something. I've been looking at the fucking United Center. I've looked every fucking where, man. I've walked downtown. I've walked up multiple blocks. I can't fucking find him. Now I'm seeing pictures. He's in fucking Scotland. And I swear to fucking God. I swear to God. That's the other thing that fucks everything up with Gunther winning King of the Ring. How the hell do we not do Drew versus Punk at SummerSlam for the world title? Punk wanted the world title at Mania. Drew obviously, wanted the world title as well. The paths are... Oh my God, I just bit the absolute shit out of my tongue. The paths just aligned perfectly for Drew and Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. As for Gunther, you could have did anything with Gunther at SummerSlam. Gunther versus Dragunov, Breaker, Sheamus. I don't know. Figure it the fuck out. You know what I mean? Or here's a fucking oh good Lord, stumbling over my words. Here's a fucking brain-headed decision, or not a brain-headed decision. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Here's a decision that'll actually make me believe somebody has a brain in their head. How about you put Gunther on SmackDown and you have him take the title from Cody at either SummerSlam or Bash in Berlin? What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? But no, we had to put Gunther on Raw, and then on top of that, we had to have him win King of the fucking Ring. It really messed everything up, man. It really messed everything up, and I don't know how you don't have Drew versus Punk for the world title at SummerSlam, and we can all blame Bell for sending me down this rabbit hole, because, God, it just pisses me off knowing that Damian Priest is probably going to walk into SummerSlam with the World Heavyweight Championship, and this whole summer in the world title scene on Monday Night Raw will have to be ruined, because we've had a garbage champion for the whole entire summer. It's a crime. It really is a fucking crime, man. But... like, I don't know, man. I don't know, but listen, I tried, Bill. I tried. Somehow the motherfucker got out of Chicago and he's in Scotland, and I swear to God, it's gonna be a very fucking angry review tomorrow. It's gonna be a very fucking angry review if I don't see Drew McIntyre hoisting the World Heavyweight Championship while hearing Broken Dreams over the fucking PA system. God. Unbelievable. I don't get it. I've been trying to find his ass all week, man. So, that is the news on Jey Uso being the front runner to win Money in the Bank. Again, I'm giving this to a guy like Balor. I mean, if you want to even go for a couple dark horses, maybe you could look at guys like Braun and Mello. But I mean, in all reality, I'm probably giving this to a guy like Balor. But then again, it's tricky giving it to Balor, because when does he cash in? You know what I mean? Because if he does cash in on Priest, he's holding that title for a month or less. You know what I mean? Because whatever happens, Gunther's winning the title. Gunther is winning the title at SummerSlam. And that's a great question. Hunter. He says, Johnny, when would you have Priest cash in if not at Mania? I would have never had him cash in. He would have been a guy I would have been fine with failing the cash in. The contract should have went to somebody else. It should have went to a guy like LA Knight, because Damian Priest, oh Lord, that man is not it, bro. That man is not it. So I don't get it, man. But You know, Damian Priest, some would say Damian Priest cash-in was perfect. I would say it was like a perfect nightmare. It was everything that I didn't want to happen coming into fruition. It was about 10 minutes. It was about 10 minutes or 5 minutes rather of me celebrating that Drew McIntyre just became the world heavyweight champion and is getting rewarded for his hard work and doing the best work of his career and being the champion of the show without even holding the title. And then it was about another 5 minutes of probably about the worst 5 minutes of my entire life. It was horrible. It was torture. It was watching Karma run down to the ring, and hit Drew McIntyre with a briefcase whilst almost throwing the fucking briefcase into the crowd, and then cashing in and absolutely ruining my open to WrestleMania. Despicable, absolutely despicable. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. So, yeah. Something I probably would never go back and watch again. It haunts me so much to this day. And I'm serious. It really does. However, yeah, man. So that is the news on Jey Uso looking to be the front runner for Money in the Bank, man. And yeah, a lot of moving pieces. Like I said, with The Rock being injured, got Hikuleo coming in. You got the rumors of Roman Reigns coming back. Now we're looking at Solo versus Cody for SummerSlam. Lot of moving parts right now, right? And you'll I'm telling you, man, you'll drive yourself crazy trying to figure out where they're gonna go with all this stuff. All you can do is sit back and hope they make the right fucking calls. And trust me, if they don't, and if they do, we'll be here to tell you so. So, anyways, man, moving on, man. Actually, jumping back to some more WWE trademarking stuff. WWE has filed, according to Fightful, WWE has filed for the copyright Los Garza. Great things look to be coming for the Legado del Fantasma, as WWE has recently filed for the trademark of Los Garza. I don't know if that's gonna be maybe him and Humberto's tag team name, or I don't know what Los Garza is, but maybe they break Angel Garza off as a singles, being that his contract is coming up. I don't know what they do. I don't really see that happening. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be very interesting to see what Los Garza is. But WWE has filed a trademark for it. It might not even be for Angel Garza. Because you know, their contracts are up August 1st, or at least Angel Garza's is. His contract is up August 1st, and I mean, it's you know, it's never even confirmed that he will stay with the company, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly this is or who this is for, but we'll just have to wait and see, man. So yeah. With that, speaking of some more contract stuff, jumping over to, I think this is the one and only AEW story we have for today. Oh, by the way, dude, the news in AEW as of late, horribly slow. I mean, man, past couple weeks of news, we've maybe had one or two AEW stories. A lot of stories going on in WWE, man, but I mean, AEW, man, I mean, they are like, in terms of the news department, man, they are dead. They are dead in the water when it comes to any sort of news or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, granted, when AEW does give us news, normally it's detrimental to the company type shit. You know, this guy's fighting this guy, and this guy's calling him a cancer to the company, and all this, and So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing. However, when you look at their television, you will know it's not really a good thing. However, man, AEW, man, AEW, the one and only AEW story we have for today, I believe. Yeah. Fightful Select confirms that Jeff Hardy is scheduled to become a free agent this week. And with that, according to PW Insider, Jeff Hardy is set to make a return to TNA this weekend, man. Whether this is for a couple one-offs, like I believe Matt is doing. I don't think Matt is signed to a long-term deal, but whether this is for that or whether this is for that or whether this is for a full-time type thing, we're just going to have to wait and see. But in all honesty, I could see him doing a little bit of TNA just to maybe wrap his career up. But in all honesty, bro, I see him going to TNA for a short stint, maybe. And then I see him going to WWE because I truly think the Hardy Boys want to wrap it up, and I think they want to go back to WWE, maybe get one final last run as tag champs over there, and then I think they want to call it a wrap. I think they know, at this point, they don't have a lot left in the tank. They have, not a lot at all. Maybe, they got something in there, but it's not a lot. It's really not. It's not a lot. There's not a lot left in the tank whatsoever for the Hardys, and I think they want to wrap it up. And I think that's what's best for Jeff. I think that's what's best for Jeff's body, especially Jeff. But I think that's what's best for Matt's body as well. I think it's about time, man. These guys. I think it's about time, man. These guys call it a wrap, man, and call it a career. And wrap it up because, their bodies just can't handle it anymore. And again, I think they're going back to TNA because that was a place that, it kind of made them in a way, or at least a broken, version of them. That is the place that, housed the Broken Hardys at first. And, that TNA was, I wouldn't say TNA was destination television, but the Hardys, the Broken Hardys on TNA was destination television, man. It was great stuff back in the day, and it was really good. And then I think they go back to WWE and do that for maybe about another year or so, and then I think they'd wrap it up, man, because it's done. It's done, or at least we're right at the finish line. So Jeff Hardy is a free agent, man, and he is looking to return to TNA as of this weekend. That is the news on Jeff Hardy, man. Speaking of more TNA talent, or jumping over to some actual TNA talent, Jordan Grace. PW Insider is reporting that Jordan Grace will sign an actual deal, or is expected to sign an actual deal with the WWE once her current deal with TNA expires in 2025. Grace made it no secret it's her dream. Made it no secret it's a dream for her to be in WWE, and with her even recently stating that she feels now is the right time despite her fear in the past. Yeah, definitely. She's definitely right. It's definitely the right time for her. And with that, you could probably expect a guy like Jonathan Gresham to be on NXT whenever he's done doing what he got to do. And again, we talked about like a cruiserweight championship for WWE. Jonathan Gresham would be great. Or, even to not, hold him to that, cruiserweight title. Even if you wanted to have this guy win like the North American or like an Intercontinental or United States Championship, man. I mean, he's a damn good wrestler. I know everybody makes fun of him because, and it is funny because, him fucking bringing up his PWI ranking to Tony Khan, nobody's really taken him seriously since then, but the guy is a damn good wrestler, and I could absolutely see him being brought in as well. But anyways, back to Jordan Grace. Yeah, man. Like it says, man, PW Insider saying that she is expected to sign with the WWE in 2025. And honestly, I think WWE has a great chance of doing to TNA what AEW did to New Japan, and that is just stealing a lot of their people, because the people in New Japan know AEW's a bigger destination, as I'm sure the people in TNA know that WWE is obviously the bigger destination. So they got ties with the company, and I honestly think, man, that, you know, with these TNA people, getting their feet wet in WWE, it's an easier transition. So I could see a lot of people from TNA. I've actually been hearing rumors of maybe Nash Carter, or the company's stance on him has softened. So a guy like Nash and Carter, a guy like Nash Carter, and even Nash Carter and Trey Miguel, joining back with Wes Lee to become the Rascals. Dude, the Rascals, or MSK, whatever you want to call them, back in WWE, a part of the tag team division, they fucking need it. And they are main roster ready up the ass. I mean, again, you got another sick trio in, Wesley and Nash Carter being the tag team and Trey Miguel being the singles. Or I actually really like Wesley as the singles. So I like his body of work. I like his body of work. I think what he does and his character and stuff, and just his whole vibe is just a very cool thing. And I honestly think even that guy, going for the U.S. title, the Intercontinental title, while Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz or Nash Carter go for the tag team titles, I think either fucking way, they're a great trio, and I like to hear that, their stance on him has softened. And then you look at other guys in TNA as well. You look at a guy like Mustafa Ali. Apparently, WWE's more than eager to work with him because, for the, TNA and NXT stuff, because Shawn Michaels loved Mustafa Ali. And then you look at a guy, probably the most popular guy in TNA right now, Joe Hendry. You know what I mean? You look at a guy like him, that guy's got charisma up the ass. I think WWE would love to have him on NXT, and I think he would be great. This guy's getting his name chanted on NXT. This guy's getting his name chanted on NXT as soon as Cody said, you might be facing people from another locker room. You just hear Joe Hendry chants. I mean, the guy is mad fucking over. He's mad over, and there's a lot of people in TNA like that. There is, man. So, but yeah, like I said, and then going back to the Rascals, man. If you wanted to have those guys as a trio, and like I said, man, I would actually really like, if Nash Carter and Trey Miguel were the tag team, and then you had, Wes Lee be the singles out of that. I would really enjoy that, man. I would really enjoy that. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff they can do with the TNA partnership. There is a lot of interesting stuff they can do. But I honestly think, like I said, I think they're going to end up signing a lot of people from TNA. And I think Triple H is going to be messing around with the TNA DLC pack, just like Tony Khan's messing around with the New Japan DLC pack. So I think that's what's going to end up happening with a lot of these people from TNA. Like I said, obviously it's expected for Jordan Grace to make the jump. I could see Joe Hendry absolutely making the jump. I could even see the guys from the Rascals making the jump and teaming back with Wes Lee. I could see, I mean, you get it. You get the point. I could see a lot of people from TNA eventually jumping ship over to WWE. So yeah. So it looks like Jordan Grace is expected to sign with the WWE as of next year when her contract expires with TNA, man. So, actually, speaking of people in NXT, Fightful Select is reporting that Roxanne Perez is set for a main roster call-up upon her dropping the NXT Women's Championship whenever that time comes. Perez is set to face TNA star Jordan Grace at NXT Battleground in Las Vegas for the NXT Women's Championship. Obviously, this came out after, I think this came out Saturday, and, Battleground happened Sunday. So we obviously know she didn't drop the title to Jordan Grace, and she did win. But that's not what's important here. What's important is she is set for a main roster call-up when she drops the NXT Women's Championship. I'm surprised. Now, NXT did get gutted, and I mean gutted, in the draft. So I could see Shawn Michaels being like, hey, you can't fucking take everybody. At least let me keep Roxanne. So kept Roxanne, and, she, stayed in NXT and has been the NXT Women's Champion. I think that was Shawn Michaels' way of saving her, and telling Triple H, look, I'll put the title on her, and whenever I take the title off of her, you can have her. Now he's probably going to milk it, or at least I could see her just coming up after SummerSlam. But I will say, one thing I do miss about NXT call-ups, I feel a lot of call-ups nowadays, they kind of just get brought up on like a random week, and there's like no big introduction. Like, remember back in the day when there would be a call-up and, somebody would come out and call for an open challenge, and then the NXT, and they would do it on a big show, not a random week. You would see like the show after SummerSlam, or the show after WrestleMania, or the show, some show, just, or maybe even at a pay-per-view, right? You would just see like a big call-up happen, or hell, even on a random week of like Raw or whatever, you see Bret Hart coming out and announcing Sami Zayn as a part of, this roster, or this open challenge match or whatever. A lot of people or they would get brought up in the draft, and that's another, a decent way to bring somebody up. But man, I hope Roxanne doesn't get brought up, because I feel like with like Braun and like Tiffany, they just got brought up on like random weeks of SmackDown in like the middle of fucking February. And then we just hear from Fightful, oh yeah, they're on the main roster now. And it's just like, damn, you couldn't have saved them for the night after WrestleMania for them to get their big pop or whatever, So that's something that's a little, nowadays. That's something that's a little But, yeah, I definitely see Shawn Michaels holding on to Roxanne for Julia, for sure. But I don't know how long that's going to get postponed, with Julia, being in injury question right now with her wrist. But I hope Roxanne gets a nice call up, and I hope she, I hope they treat her well, man. But she's obvious. She's been main roster ready for a long time. So I'm happy to see her. Finally getting her comeuppance, man. And yeah, with Julia's wrist injury, like Logan's saying, man, usually wrist injuries aren't so bad, or at least like, they're, it's almost like a broken nose, where all you really got to do is wear the face mask and you'll be all right. I know Sheamus was wrestling with one for a while, and same with wrists. I know Bayley, I remember seeing Bayley wrestle with, a broken wrist, and it's not really nothing, it's really going to alter, your time. Like, you can wrestle with it, it's not that serious of an injury. But whenever Julia comes back, man, I feel like that title's getting taken off Roxanne, and Roxanne will be on her way to the main roster. And I am very, very, very glad for that, because it is long, long overdue. Well, speaking of the women's division, Io Sky. Marigold confirms that Io Sky will return to the independent scene in Japan for one night to face Utami Hayashida. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool, man. WWE obviously having her go to Marigold. And, as it says, it's an independent promotion in Japan. And fucking Io Sky is going to be returning to the independent scene in Japan, and wow, that is awesome. That is awesome. I love to see WWE, building that equity with other companies, man. They're building it with TNA. They're building it with, I think they did GCW Bloodsport not too long ago. Noah, we're going to talk about that next. And now here, Marigold. But yeah, man, it's so awesome to see, WWE coming together. WWE coming together, man, and just with other companies, and instead of burning bridges like they did in the past, they are building them. And it is very nice to see. It's very nice to see. Not to mention, I believe they did work with All Japan too, not too long ago. So it is, it's so awesome to see. It's so awesome to see WWE building, building relationships. And like I said, WWE burnt, and you guys know, burnt bridges for so long. With so many companies, man. I mean, it seemed like every company that came around, the only priority WWE had was to fucking step on their throat. And nowadays, they're working with people. They're letting Io Sky go do, Marigold. They're letting Shayna Baszler do Bloodsport. They're letting Nakamura do Noah. They're letting Charlie Dempsey do All Japan. They're letting a bunch of people do a bunch of everything, man. And I believe Jordan Grace's next title defense on the next TNA pay-per-view, whenever it is an open challenge. I guarantee we see somebody from NXT. I don't know when it is, but I remember hearing that she's doing an open challenge. I don't keep up with TNA, so pardon me, but yeah, I see, people in NXT, WWE, we brought it to you guys last week. WWE wants to share that wealth too with a company like TNA, and they've been sending people to other companies. It's not all about people coming into WWE. It's about, sharing the wealth as well, man. You guys got people we want to bring in and do some work with. Hey, we got some people that we could send you to. So it works out for everybody, man. And WWE's not the only ones, getting the rub from it. So, I like it, man. I like it. I would just really like for WWE to start working with some major promotions, because Forbidden Door is such a dead concept. The only fucking Forbidden Door I'm interested in this point is WWE versus AEW. And we brought you guys that last week with Swerve, where he was saying, neither guy is opposed to it. I don't think either guy is opposed to it. I just think either guy is too stubborn to make the first move in creating that relationship with the other ones. But could you imagine WWE, New Japan, and AEW Forbidden Door? The amount of shit we would get. I mean, dude, just look at, there's so much rich history between all those three companies and between people in all those three companies. You got Bullet Club guys on all three of those companies. You got guys that got history with this guy and this guy and this guy. It runs deep. And like I said, Forbidden Door is such a lame concept. The only Forbidden Door I'm interested to see is a fucking Seth Rollins versus Seth Rollins versus Jon Moxley versus Roman Reigns. Now that's a great point you bring, Logan. Who the fuck would New Japan bring to the table? Wow. I digress. Yeah, you got a great point, man. Well, maybe they could bring good old David Finlay over, man. Maybe they could bring Gabe Kidd, Maybe they could bring some of those guys over, man. The big stars. Exactly. You get what I'm saying, man. David Finlay, the star. Mr. New Japan. Yeah, they really got to work on that, bro. They really. But anyways, even if you do want to take New Japan off the table, because again, who really cares? You look at the only and I think I speak for a lot of people. The only Forbidden Door concept I think anybody wants to see, because New Japan and AEW is so overdone, is fucking WWE and AEW. And that's because that is something that actually seems forbidden. And again, like Swerve said in that interview, I don't think either guy is opposed to it. I think, like I said, I think both of them just have way too much pride to make the first move. That is true. They do got the ace. They got Tanahashi, and they got my man Naito. I love Naito. Love Tanahashi. I do like Ishii and Suzuki, but golly, does it seem like we see those guys every 2 weeks on AEW Dynamite, man. So, yeah, exactly. So, no, but yeah, the Shield, Jon Moxley versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. I think people would love to see that. You're looking at matches like MJF versus Cody Rhodes. That would be pretty hard. You look at the tag team side of things. Obviously, if you're not saying Young Bucks versus Usos, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking. Because, boy, that would be the banger of all bangers. How about FTR versus DIY? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, dude. I mean, this would be great stuff. This would be great stuff if they were ever to do something like that. Mercedes and maybe Mercedes and Rhea Ripley. Maybe Mercedes and Bayley. Maybe Jamie Hayter and Rhea Ripley. What's the Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley? I mean, there's literally because there's so much possibility in there. But that's the only Forbidden Door concept that I care about nowadays, because it's actually forbidden. Okay, it's not, as I call Forbidden Door, the bedroom door or the fucking front door. Is, because I mean, you walk through the shit so many times a day. Well, unless you're a wrestling fan and you don't go outside. If you're a normal person, like most of the people as a part of the Notorious Sales family are, we actually go outside, we actually smell fresh air, we actually, get to, see cars driving by, we see the fucking pavement on the road, we see grass, right? Grass. All right, we see fucking tree bark. We see the fucking cicadas fucking flying around. I mean, look, there's a lot, there's nothing forbidden about your front door, anybody's front door. And that is what AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door is at this point. The only forbidden door is any sort of WWE and AEW interaction. That's it. But I digress. But yeah, man. So, no, I like it, though. Io Sky's going over to Logan. I know you're not one of them. You actually get up. You grind, man. You go to work. You actually see, grass and, fuck the road, a car, something. Something, man. You see the outside world. You get to smell some fresh air, right? So, yeah, good old wrestling fans, man. Good old wrestling fans. However, exactly, Bill. Some of us, we got hobbies, man. We like to do other things, man. Not these wrestling fans, bro. Not these wrestling fans. See, the front door is forbidden to them. Hell, their bedroom door is probably forbidden to them. I doubt they even leave there. They probably fucking piss in jugs like fucking DJ and Chowder were doing in fucking Monster House. That is the typical wrestling fan. The typical. However, man. Anyways. Yeah, so WWE sending EO to Marigold, and awesome, man. I love to see WWE doing this type of stuff, man. I really do. It's a great thing to see. And it just goes to show how much the company has changed for the better. All right. Speaking of some more WWE crossover stuff, legendary Japanese promotion Pro Wrestling Noah has announced that there will be a major announcement by them and WWE at their Yokohama Buntai event on Sunday. And this was 2 days ago. So this Sunday, the day, June 16th, the day after Clash, it looks like Pro Wrestling Noah and WWE got a major announcement coming, man. So maybe they're going to be doing some type of Worlds Collide show. I would like to see a WWE and TNA Worlds Collide if they were going to do anything of that matter. But, you know, I believe WWE did something like that a couple years ago with, who did they do the Worlds Collide show with? Was it Evolve? Was it Evolve or PWG or something like that? Something like that. But maybe they're gonna announce some sort of some sort of Worlds Collide show with them, or they're gonna do something to that matter. Or I mean, hell, even WWE NXT and WWE NXT UK was a great Worlds Collide show. I mean, I know it's a slept on banger, but Imperium versus Undisputed, or even more slept on of a banger, was DIY versus Mustache Mountain. Oh, God. Don't make me started on the level of banger that show was. It was. I think it was 2019 that year was. So, yeah. Could be something. It could be something with somebody singular, you know, it's a single person like Nakamura or whatever. Or it could be, like I said, some sort of just Worlds Collide show, or maybe multiple people getting sent over to Pro Wrestling Noah. Bunch of stuff, man. A bunch of stuff could be taking place, and we'll just have to wait and see. But I guarantee you, whatever it is, we will have it for you next week on the episode of news, man, because we will find out on Sunday. So, yeah, man, that is the news on WWE expanding their lenses, if you will. So, bro, now that you said his name, Ethan Page. Oh, God. I know, guys, I know we do this like every week. Bro, what the hell was that theme song? What in the fuck was that Ethan Page theme song? Oh, Lord. Not only was the NXT Battleground, or, the UFC Apex crowd trash for this dude's entrance. I mean, holy shit. You could fucking hear the cameraman's footsteps. It was so fucking quiet when this guy was making his entrance. And on top of that, that theme song, holy fuck. That was bad. You know, I didn't like his song in AEW either. What I did like in AEW was his joint song with Scorpio Sky, the Men of the Year song. I'm not going to lie, bro. That is a slept-on banger. They actually had a pretty decent theme song. But, bro, whatever they gave this man for a song in WWE, dude, that is exactly the reason why Def Rebel needs to go. Because, oh my God, they are getting worse. They are getting so much worse. They really are. And the couple Def Rebel songs that they did make, I really hope they don't change them out of pettiness, like EOs, and I think they make Chad Gables and Roman Reigns and all them. Obviously Roman's song ain't getting changed. We all know that. But, you know, these smaller people, you know what I mean? I really, really hope that they do not start changing theme songs if they do get rid of Def Rebel, because there are some that are okay, and some of their songs do not need to be changed that are made by Def Rebel, but most of them, oh my God, they got to do something about that. Could you imagine what Jim Johnson would be able to come up with for fucking Ethan Page? Oh, ego. What the fuck? Who listened to that and was like, you know what? This shit is a bop. Ego. What? Fucking God. Ugh. They never, ever shock me with how bad these songs get. But I mean, man, every time I think we've hit a low, they get even lower. Golly. God, song had me fucking traumatized. And then on top of that, I was even more traumatized with the you could hear the mice in the fucking arena fucking eating cheese while this motherfucker's coming out. That's what you can fucking hear while he's coming out. Golly. Oh, bro, they gotta take the CEO. For context, Bell says, at least it's less in your face than CEO. Oh, bro. They gotta do something about that, man. You know how the legato, like in Santos Escobar's song, it does give you the little sing-along, but it's very quiet. It's like, oh, oh, oh. And it says it, but it doesn't say it, or like Sami Zayn's old Titantrons, it would say let's go, but when the song said let's go, the letters would turn red, almost like a karaoke, right? They got to do something about that, because half the time it is just the most piped in, the loud, or again, at least turn the sound down on the CEO, because it blares. I mean, it fucking blares in your face, man. I mean, like Bell says, it is in your fucking face, dude. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, man. And they gotta, yeah, I mean, it's weird because they blare that, but the parts where she's rapping sound so quiet. Like, dude, do the opposite. Turn the CEO down and turn her actual lyrics up. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it, man. I do not get production value behind wrestling theme songs nowadays. I do not understand. Speaking of production value and things to come soon, jumping over to Uncle Howdy. This news dropped about a month ago before Backlash, and I said, you know what, Sir K? We're not going to cover this because I don't want to ruin the surprise for people on who's going to be into the group. And a lot of times with stuff like that, we don't like to do it because we don't like to do like a lot of spoiler type news, at least spoiler type news that's going to be something that we'll see in the near future on television. So when they said there was going to be Uncle Howdy group and it's going to have these people in it, I was like, oh shit, this news is coming out now. We're probably going to see them at Backlash. Here we are a whole month later and it's Clash at the Castle time. So at this point, everybody knows who's going to be in the fucking group. So we're just going to talk about it. So PW Insider confirms that Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross were scheduled to film vignettes this week. The reveal of the group could occur as soon as this Monday on Monday Night Raw. As this week on Monday Night Raw, the latest QR code said, you refused salvation. 6 days, 23 hours, 54 minutes and 13 seconds, and that was at the beginning of Monday Night Raw. So it looks at about 7 o'clock Central Time on Monday, we should finally, and I mean finally, be getting the debut of Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, and Uncle Howdy. And I really hope it just ends up being Bo Dallas, because I'm sorry, I do not want to see Taylor Rotunda dressed up in a fucking Uncle Howdy mask. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the original Uncle Howdy mask, where before the Bo Dallas version of the mask came in, there was like a creepy figure that came out, and he didn't wrestle. He was just like the overseer. He was the leader, right? And you know, Bray used to say all the time, I'm the servant now. You know what I mean? God rest that man's soul. I miss him so much. But God, those original comeback promos, bro. Oh, shit was a banger. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. I go on for days. But, so, Bray, he used to always say, you know, I'm the servant now. And we would see this old man looking version of Uncle Howdy. Before it looked like a mask, it was just a creepy looking old guy. I would really like if we got some version of that where he was the overseer as he always was. And Bo Dallas was, you know, Bo Dallas, maybe obviously just a creepier version of himself to fit the group. But I really don't want to see him dressed up, and let alone wrestling, in an Uncle Howdy mask. I really do not want to see it at all. I'm sorry. I would like to see Uncle Howdy be the leader of the group, but lead in the shadows. He doesn't need to be on TV, dressing up, standing out there in a mask, you know, doing his thing. You know, I would just really like to see, I would really like to see Taylor be Taylor. And yeah, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm sure we'll talk about it all on Monday. Yeah, so yeah, I just want to see Bo be Bo. I want to say exactly like Logan says, I just want to see the man be Taylor Rotunda. I want to see him be himself, and obviously I want to see him be a creepier version to fit the group, but I just want to see him be him. I don't want to see him dressed in a mask. I don't want to see any of these. The only person I want to see in a fucking mask is Eric Rowan, and that's during his entrance when he's wearing the sheep mask. That's it. I don't want to see these people dressed up as puppets. I don't want to see that. I want to see these people be themselves, and I want to see them relay Wyndham's vision. And I do not want to see anybody dressed up in costumes, please. But I'm sure we're going to talk about it all on Monday after we see the group debut, and hopefully it's exciting. But yeah, man. Chad Gable, the homie. All the homies fuck with Chad Gable. They really do, man. PW Insider reports Chad Gable is staying with the WWE. He is extremely close or has already come to terms on a new WWE contract. This is great. Chad Gable's the best part of Monday Night Raw right now. He is, and if fucking Damian Priest keeps the World Heavyweight Championship, he's really going to be the best part of Monday Night Raw. He's doing some of the best work of his career. Chad Gable is just a prick. The other night, trying to, get to sleep, and I watched like an hour-long video of the recap of the feud of the Otis and Chad Gable and, all their, the crumbling of Alpha Academy. And dude, I legitimately sat there for like an hour. The video was like an hour and 15 minutes or something like that. I legitimately sat there for an hour and watched through the whole thing because it's so awesome where we've gotten up until this point. And just the story progression of Gable and Otis, and seeing how over that man Otis is getting. Literally, dude, again, just open your fucking ears. How over this man is getting it's a beautiful thing to see. Every time this man, gets in Chad Gable's face, the fucking roof fucking blows off the place. You know what I mean? And it's a great thing, man. It's a great thing, and it's so awesome. It's so awesome, and I'm just so happy for the story that they've been able to portray out. And I'm also glad because this is one of the only stories coming out of the summer that people have really gotten to sink their teeth into. This is the best story in all of WWE at the moment, man. I mean, this is destination television right here, with Sammy and Otis and Gable and just all the work that they've put on. So they've done great stuff. I'm glad Gable's staying with the company. Yeah, I'm stoked that he's staying with the company. I'm very, very glad. Very, very glad for that, man. And yeah, I'm super happy, and I hope, and I think he will, finally get his and win the Intercontinental Championship. If it's not Saturday, it'll be soon, but I really think it's gonna be Saturday. But Gable's staying with the company, and I'm glad because there's absolutely no way this man could be, walking. There's no way WWE would, I would at least hope would never let that happen. But actually, that brings up a very interesting story that I was seeing over the weekend. Now that I'm reminded, So, according to Fightful, and I'm assuming this is how things, well, obviously this is how things I'm sure had to work with Gable, there have been other WWE performers who saw their deals coming up recently and have claimed to other companies that they have been on a per appearance basis. If this doesn't show you how much WWE has changed, I don't know how. I don't know what does, because everybody knows, man. You guys know, man. WWE is that company that, or at least was that company that, unless they got you locked down, you are for fucking minimum 5 years. You are not being seen on their television show. So the fact that they're actually letting people out here on a per appearance basis is pretty wild in itself. It's pretty wild in itself, man. And yeah, it's pretty wild in itself. And I wonder who all these people are. I'm sure Chad Gable at least had to work maybe one show, that being last Monday's Raw, probably just on appearance until he was able to, get get his contract figured out. But I wonder who else is working on a per appearance basis. And it's very crazy that WWE is actually letting people work on a per appearance basis when they could go show up on fucking Dynamite 2 days later. You know what I mean? On a Wednesday, man. So it's crazy, that WWE is actually allowing that, but it really just goes to show, man, that the company has changed. The company has changed drastically. But yeah, it's something definitely pretty crazy, man. It's something definitely pretty crazy in terms of just things that WWE allows nowadays. Because yeah, like I said, old WWE, unless you're, you can either sign a 5-year deal or you are not appearing on our television show. That's just how it was, man. But yeah, it's so weird to hear stories like this nowadays. Ricochet, man. So it was reported on Monday that on Monday, this past Monday, it would be Ricochet's final appearance for the company. So PW Insider is reporting that WWE is considering, well, okay, so before Monday, before Raw, it was reported that they were going to write him off television tonight, right, on Monday. So obviously on Monday, Braun Breaker, threw him through the, lawn darted him, threw him through the windshield or whatever. Then it comes out 2 days ago on Wednesday, PW Insider is reporting that WWE is still considering one final appearance for Ricochet, given there is some time left on Ricochet's contract, and seeing the huge amount of attention he received when news of him exiting broke. there was at least a creative pitch for him to potentially return for one more appearance, but that actually happening remains to be seen. The belief is that his contract expires around the end time of July. Then WWE came out and revealed that after the attack at the hands of Braun Breaker that last Monday on Raw, Ricochet will be out for an undisclosed period of time due to multiple injuries. So that was the other thing. And then we heard about here it is. And then we heard about WWE was trying to use this program or angle with Braun Breaker as a way. They were trying to use this program and angle with Braun Breaker as a way to try to leverage him to stay with the company. And, okay, so obviously there's a lot to unpack. So, we heard Monday that it was going to be his last appearance. Coming over to Wednesday, we hear they're thinking about one final appearance for him. Then WWE comes out and says later that day on Wednesday that he suffered, he's going to be out for an undisclosed period of time. So did WWE just confirm, because again, if they did want to use whatever with Braun Breaker to leverage him and try to get him to stay, I don't really think putting him in a feud where he's putting over a guy that hasn't been there as long as he is, and I don't really think using him as a wheel to get another younger guy over isn't really the way to get him to stay, because what is that going to say to Ricochet? Oh, you can stay with the company, and we're going to use you as a guy to put other people over. We're going to use you as a guy to put other people over, and that's going to get you to stay. That wouldn't really get me to stay, man. But again, if Ricochet's out, maybe he does come back in a month, and maybe he does do one final match with Braun Breaker, and Braun beats him, and then he's done with the company. Maybe they do something like that. Logan says, it's undisclosed. That could be a week. That could be 4 weeks. That could be 2 months. And at that point, he'll be out of the company, and he just never ended up coming back. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting as to, what that means. But, if WWE, man, the way they left it, it definitely did leave the door open. I thought it would be leaving the door open for maybe a potential return for him down the line in a couple years. That way he'll have some beef with Braun Breaker to settle if he does come back to the company. But if they do want to do one more appearance for him, I could see him coming back on an episode of Raw. I could see him coming back on an episode of Raw and, making a final appearance, or maybe screwing Braun Breaker out of the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then, they do Ricochet and Braun that next Monday on the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank. Braun beats him and we get him out of here. So maybe they do something like that. Man. Or maybe they just keep him out, but it remains to be seen. But at the very least, they're considering him, coming back for one more appearance. So whether they do or not, I honestly think they'll be fine either way. If they decide not to bring him back, I think you wrote him off in a perfect way, to the point where he can come back in a couple years and he's got unfinished business with Dragunov. They always talk about having another match. And he's got unfinished business with Braun Breaker because the guy's the one who took him out. So, they got a lot of unfinished business. If I'm him, or if I'm WWE, I'm honestly just using this as a write-off, and maybe wanting to tell this story if he does eventually end up coming back to the company, which I'm sure he will. I honestly think he's going to go pull a Drew McIntyre. I think he's going away to show the company his worth, and then he's going to come back and, with the hopes that they actually do something with him. If I'm him, I keep the title. My bad, I got my words tangled. If I'm him, or if I'm WWE rather, I'm just keeping him off and, hoping, we could pick this up in a couple years. But, that's me though. But, so, yeah. That's what I'm doing. Just so, like I said, in case he ever does come back, you do have stuff, intriguing stuff for him to do, man. So I like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing that's interesting. Well, that's the thing, that when I was watching it, I'm sitting there and, he's beating the shit out of Ricochet so bad. I'm sitting there like, man, this guy's gonna look like a bitch going over to AEW, and fucking, not picking up, where he left off with Braun Breaker. He just goes off to another company. But yeah, I don't know why, they did it. I mean, they did it with Dean Ambrose, and that was a Vince McMahon-led WWE, and that's something that Vince McMahon would never do, announce that somebody hasn't re-signed with the company. And in a Triple H era, I feel as if, we could have just been upfront and honest, and we could have just said, hey, Ricochet's not re-signing with the company, so he wants to, finish his stuff up or whatever. But then again, Triple H is a man of story, so I could see him writing off like he is going to come back for Braun Breaker, because there's the hopes that in a couple years, he will. But then again, at the end of the day, if he finds that he's happy in AEW, then your hope is just unwritten storyline. But I mean, I guess, Braun did get the last laugh, I guess, on WWE television. So I don't know. I'm not, completely opposed to it. But yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to them writing him off the way he did, and, moving with the hope that maybe he'll be back to finish this storyline up in a couple years. But yeah, man. So that is the news on Ricochet, and him, being done with WWE, man. And and like I said, man, yes, they okay, yeah. Also with Ricochet, Wrestling Observer reports WWE did not want to lose Ricochet, and the storyline with Braun Breaker was made to give him a big reason to return. If he had any doubts, the WWE had ideas for him, whether he stayed or chose to remove him from the storyline. But those at WWE confirmed that the belief was that he was leaving. Yeah, again, don't really think that's a good reason for him to stay. Hey, you can stay and put over Braun Breaker, and then the whole rest of your run, you'll probably be putting over other newcomers too. So, stay with us, buddy. Don't really think that was the best call. Don't really think that was the best call to try to get him to stay. It's almost like trying to lure Okada to the company by having Nakamura lose 2 pay-per-views in a row to Seth Rollins. Not really the most reasonable decision. And then Okada signed with AEW, and we haven't fucking seen Nakamura since. So, you know what that push was for. So, before we get on to these predictions, man, Clash at the Castle. WrestleVotes is reporting that WWE is altering its plans for a press conference after this Saturday's Clash at the Castle premium live event. It will now just be a post-show, with the possibility of media questions still undetermined. And I am hearing rumors in the IWC that WWE will be taking questions, but they will be pre-recorded ones, so they don't get any questions that they don't want to answer. Are we serious? Are we fucking serious? Triple H doesn't want hard-hitting questions that bad to the point where we're altering the whole show. And I hate people saying, like, that reporter just had to fuck it up. Fuck it up by what? Doing his job? Asking, and then people say, well, he needs to be asking questions about the show. If controversy, and WWE's been a company that is no stranger to controversy as of late, if controversy strikes before the show before or around the time the show takes place, that's kind of what a press conference is. It's allowing media, it's actually saying thanks to the media that wants to come out and cover your show. You guys get to ask us questions, free reign. See, you guys they get questions like, hey, EO, do you want to face Taylor Swift? Triple H and all these guys are making fun of the reporter for asking a dumbass question, but whenever they ask questions about Vince or about Drew Gulak or whatever the fucking case is, they want to say, oh, great move, buddy. Great, trying to get your couple seconds of notoriety in. He's doing his fucking job. He's a fucking reporter. And like the guy said, he's a fucking reporter. He's not paid there to be a fan. The reporters are supposed to ask the hard-hitting questions. I fucking hate. And maybe this is a good thing that they're moving to a post-show as opposed to a press conference, because WWE clearly has no fucking idea in the PR department on how to answer hard-hitting questions. They have no idea. And it's ridiculous because they're a multi-billion-dollar company and they should be more than ready to know how to handle a hard question. Are you serious? You're shying away from a hard question? Are we serious right now? It's so stupid. And again, it's something that sucks because press conferences are sometimes something that could be just very informative on how the show went, very informative on just how things are going in the company, how you want to look at it. But maybe this is a good thing because WWE, again, you ask them stupid questions, they laugh at you. You ask them real questions and they fucking scoff at you. There's no winning. Oh, how could this guy ask this question? Are we fucking serious, bro? I mean, come on, man. So maybe this is a good thing in all honesty because WWE clearly fucking suck in the media training department because for the love of God, they just cannot take a hard-hitting question on the chin to save their life. They can't. They can't, bro. And it sucks. It sucks, man. It's something that sucks, and it's something that you would think WWE would be well prepared to learn how to do. But obviously that's not the case. So, that is the news on Clash at the Castle and them looking to move from a press conference to a post show. Definitely. And it's like, that's the thing. If people ask Vince questions, all you got to do is deny them. I mean, but you got to understand there is baggage that comes with your company. You guys are attached to a horrible person, and there is a lot of controversy surrounding this horrible person. That person being Vince McMahon. And the thing is, all you got to do is say, look, he's not with the company. That's his problem. Not ours. We're focused on putting on a great show. Bam. There it is. Tony Khan dodges questions all the time. It's okay for you to do it too. Now, Tony Khan dodges fucking stupid questions, but if this is a question where it's something that's happening in court and and it's just controversy that you guys don't want to be involved with, just be like, hey, he's not in the company anymore. There's a reason. He's out, and that's that. We don't want to talk about it. We're focused on moving this company forward into the right direction. And don't tell me that they're shy to slander Vince McMahon, because that Hall of Fame ceremony was basically like a fuck Vince ceremony, if you ask me. Fucking Paul Heyman's out there talking about how the company desperately needed leadership, and Paul Levesque answered the phone. Everybody's talking about this as the Paul Levesque era and all this stuff. I mean, that was a Vince slander weekend. It was. So, yeah, man, looks like WWE is going to be moving away from the press conferences possibly and moving on to post shows with a possibility of pre-recorded questions. And with that, with the final news story before we go over to the predictions, man, PW Insider is reporting there have been creative pitches to bring back WWE Bad Blood as a pay-per-view in October of 2024. I think that's awesome. I would love to do I would love to do graphics for a Bad Blood. I would love to do that, man, and I think that's a great concept, and I think it's better than Payback and Fastlane, because if you're looking at your September October time range, usually the two pay-per-view, or at least the two pay-per-views you got last year, were Payback and Fastlane. October was Fastlane, and I will take Bad Blood over Fastlane any day of the week. Bad Blood, Bloodline, think there's a little bit of continuity there. And I honestly, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the Bloodline, I would love to do that anyway. But for September and October, I would not mind if they switched it up every year. You know what I mean? If they switch those two pay-per-views up every year, I wouldn't mind. Now, I like Bad Blood because it gives a little bit of a spooky Halloween type theme. And as for September, you know, I mean, there's stuff you can do. There's stuff you can do for sure. But yeah, man, I mean, it's very interesting, man. And I like this concept, and I would love to do it, man. You guys know we're all for bringing you guys all the, you know, reviews for WWE and stuff. So I would love to do some graphics for Bad Blood and get this show on the road, bro. So yeah. Definitely, and that's a great observation that Bell makes too. If you want to have a guy like Nick Khan up there to deal with those type of corporate questions, go right the fuck ahead. You know what I mean? That's another thing you could do, man. You could just keep Triple H's hair all out of those questions, bro. So with that, moving on to the Clash at the Castle predictions for Clash at the Castle in Scotland tomorrow night. Starting you guys off with what I think will actually open the show. Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match. I actually really like the addition of this I Quit match. I think it's going to be a banger, and I was really starting to get fed up with Cody Rhodes doing nothing in his title reign, but I will say I've been very happy with the way that they have turned up just this level of feud with Cody and AJ. I do. I like it. I do. I like it a lot. I don't know, you know, I don't know why he had to make that unnecessary Logan Paul stop. I guess it was just for, you know, to you know, really sell that AJ might actually have to get to the back of the line, which obviously we know he did not. But Cody and AJ in an I Quit match, I think this is going to be a great one, and I think this is going to be a great one. I love me a good I Quit match. One of my favorite match stipulations. Always loved I Quit matches ever since John Cena and Batista from 2010. I want to say it was Over the Limit. That was the first I Quit match I seen, and ever since then I went back and binged all types of I Quit matches, from just the Ruthless Aggression, early PG era, and then obviously so on and so forth. So anyways, enough of that. I think this one's going to Cody, and yeah, Cody ain't dropping that belt until the final boss. Okay. And with the next match, And with the next match, we have the women's triple threat tag team championship match. We got Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And good lord, mad prayers to Alba Fire. I believe I remember hearing recently that her mom passed away in a car accident while she was out in Florida visiting her. Oh, absolutely horrible. Heart goes out to her. You know, I'm sure this is probably going to be very emotional for her, man, now that she's back in Scotland and stuff. And man, my heart really goes out to her, man. I can't even imagine what kind of pain she's going through, man. So yeah, prayers to Alba Fire. But anyways, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Obviously, this is going to Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Yeah, this match is literally on the show just to get Alba Fire and Isla Dawn on the card because they're both from Scotland. So, yeah. And with the next match, speaking of being put on the pay-per-view because you're from Scotland, Bayley defending the undisputed, or the WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven. Yeah, this is obviously there as well because Piper is from Scotland and Bayley is one of the UK's favorites. Yes. Love that chant. That chant never, ever gets old. Never. It never will. It never will either, man. But I can't wait to see it. I hope. If there's any match I'm really hoping for to turn the fuck up, it is Bayley versus Piper Niven, because Bayley's title reign, they've done a very bad job with it, in my honest opinion, and Piper has just not gotten her opportunity up until this point, man, and I'm really hoping they just let Piper fucking ball the fuck out. And I really want to see her just do her thing, because I know she got that dog in her. Okay, I know she does. I know it's in there. And I want to see her bring that out, man. I want to see her bring that dog out. I want to see these two ball out, bro. I really do. But I obviously think this one's going to go to Bayley. SummerSlam is Bayley versus Nia Jax 100%. So, with the next match, one of the most anticipated matches on the card for the Intercontinental Championship, Chad Gable versus defending Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Man, I think this one's gonna be a good one. I'm excited to see what happens with Otis. I honestly think we could see some sort of Creed Brothers interference, and maybe Otis is a little confused on the outside, and then afterwards, they just jump him. Either that, or Otis goes to turn on Chad Gable after he wins the Intercontinental Championship, and then they attack him from there. Maybe something along those lines, bro. But I think this one, finally, once and for all, will go to Chad Gable. And yeah, I'm in agreement with Logan here, man. I think there's no way you have Chad Gable lose for the Intercontinental Championship again. And I think at this point we do see some formation of the new Alpha Academy. So I think this one goes to Chad Gable, man, for sure. I think he finally gets his hands on the Intercontinental Championship. And in the main event, the most important match of Triple H's booking up until this point. There's never been a time where he has, and I mean has to, make the fucking right call more than right now, you gotta fucking get the title off of Damian Priest. You gotta get the title off of him. You got to put the title on Drew. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to put the title on Drew McIntyre in Scotland. You have to. I do not want to see this fucking box-braided bozo walk out of Clash with the championship. No way. There's no way he walks out as World Heavyweight Champion. It has to be Drew McIntyre. Therefore, I'm predicting Drew McIntyre gets screwed over by CM Punk, and Damian Priest walks out as the World Heavyweight Champion. But there's no way. Trips. There's no fucking way you have this dork walk out of here with the World Heavyweight title over Drew McIntyre. There's no way. Punk, you gotta come out after the match and stare him down after. You got to. There's no way. However, I'm predicting Damian Priest. And I'm fully expecting WWE to not meet my fucking requirements yet again. You know, oh man, it's going to be heartbreak. It's going to be heartbreak tomorrow. However, I also predict Drew McIntyre comes out to Broken Dreams, and I think he brings back Broken Dreams in Scotland tomorrow night. He said it to Damian Priest. He said, I hate to break it to you, but I dream broken dreams, and I make them come true. Man, we getting it. Huge crowd pop yesterday or today. Huge crowd pop for the Broken Dreams line. I think we're getting Broken Dreams, and I think that's exactly what Drew McIntyre gets. I think he walks out of Scotland with a fuck ton of broken dreams. I think he loses, man. I think he loses. I think Punk screws him out of it. He already teased, you know, jumping out of some hay or whatever, and you know, he already teased jumping out of some hay and screwing him over. I think that's exactly what's going to happen, especially because we haven't seen him for a while. I think that is exactly what happens. But Drew's got to win. Trips, you got to fucking do the right thing. And I'm going to be really fucking angry if you don't. However, that is it for the predictions, and that is going to do it for this edition of the Notorious Hills podcast. This has been another great edition of the news. And like I said, man, we will be live for Clash at the Castle, Scotland tomorrow night. Again, as of right now, I don't know if that's going to be a solo review. I do not know if that's going to be a double me and Sir K review or a solo review. I'm not sure, man, but we will find out tomorrow. We will find out tomorrow, man. And yeah, that is gonna do it. That is gonna do it for this edition of the Notorious Hills podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an amazing show. Thank you guys for joining me for the news and the Clash at the Castle Scotland predictions, man. Again, we will be live tomorrow night, or tomorrow, directly after the show goes off the air. Again, it could be me and Sir K. We don't, we're not exactly sure up until this point, but you guys will know tomorrow. But with that, that is going to do it for this edition of the Notorious Hills podcast. And that is going to do it for another great edition of the news. This has been episode 218. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. I want to thank, where's my phone? Here we go. I want to thank Jenny Oxton and my man Hounds of, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Hounds of something. Hounds of Wrestling. My bad. I want to thank both of you for the subs on the channel, man. I want to thank you guys again for subbing to the show. Thank you guys for that. And yeah, man, it's been fun. Everybody, man, Hunter, Durante, Logan Bell, thank you guys so much for being here, man. Whether you guys are here now or part of the Replay Mafia, thank you guys so very much for joining us, or joining me, rather. And thank you guys so very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys. We love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys tomorrow night, or tomorrow evening, whatever time zone you're in, for the Clash at the Castle, Scotland official review. See you guys tomorrow night. Peace.
I used to get pills on the bitch. Now I throw shields on the dick to stop me from that HIV shit. And niggas know they soft like a Twinkie fillin', playing the villain, prepare for the strap killing. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Your style is played out like Arnold, and that's what you talking about, Willis. The thrill is gone. The black Frank White is here to excite. Throw dick to dice. Bitches are like I'm brainless. Guns are like I'm stainless steel. I want the fucking fortune like the wheel. I squeeze gats till my clips is empty. Don't tempt me. You don't want the fuck with the
I'll be damned if this ain't some shit. Time to spread the butter lyrics over harmony grip. It's the mood killer death trap. Yes, I'm a jet black ninja. Coming where you rest at, surrender. Step inside the ring, use the #1 contender. Looking cold booty like your pussy in December. Nigga, stop bitching. Button up your lippin'. From method, all you gettin' is the can of ass whipping. Hey, I be kicking. You son, you doing all the yapping. Acting as if it can't happen. Your frontin' got me mad enough to touch something. You want from Shallon, Allen, and ain't afraid to bust something. So what you want, nigga? You want, nigga? I got a 6-shooter and a horse named Trigger. It's real, 94, rugged raw, kicking on your goddamn doors.
something like this.